Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. State Representative Brad Halbrook welcoming you to another Tuesday night Illinois Freedom Caucus live stream town hall and roundtable, as there's always a relentless pursuit of truth, logic, and common sense. And Representative Miller, leader of the Freedom Caucus, we still believe in the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. Chris, how's things going? Open us up.
Well, the battle continues. It's like have always said that the fight for freedom never ends. And if we wanted to fight, we've got a whopper on our hands right now with now the Illinois giving tremendous tax breaks to the Chinese Communist Party, as well as the Safety Act and all the ramifications of that. And so there's a lot to talk about this evening. So we look forward to having your input there, Brother Halbrook.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us. So, Representative Free, Southwestern Illinois, you're going to bring a perspective to us tonight as we dive into some kind of brand new stuff that happened on Monday, a court order on the Safety Act. And so what's going on in your neighborhood, Representative Freeze?
Well, just living the dream, still working my day job, and no, life is good. Following up on what Chris said, we had a couple things happen here lately. It's really unfortunate we have to give tax breaks to the Chinese to get jobs here in our state. Right. Hey, let's do some reform. Let's do something with work comp, maybe some unemployment insurance, and have maybe some U.S. companies come to our state. Right. Wouldn't that be nice?
Exactly.
I thought that one of the, you talk about that, we finally got a Chinese company to come, but the rumor on the street was that was either the 17th or 18th battery company that they had courted to try to get to come to Illinois. And they finally found some Chinese that were willing to come. I've heard, wire pulling had a number of tax breaks up to $8 billion, including what the feds are willing to do for this, which is and this is a $2 billion plant. So I wonder where the rest of the money will go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, let's just get right into the slide set. And so let's talk about that a little bit. And so tonight, again, this is kind of our opening title slide. And the first thing we want to talk to that you gentlemen have kind of talked about, this says Pritzker grants $500 million to the Chinese Communist Party company called Gotion. Now, I think the number that we've seen that the governor's talking about is $536 million. But Chris, you touched on it. Wire Points is talking maybe about a different number on a $2 billion plant. And here's already $500 million worth of tax incentives.
Mm-hmm. No, it's pretty amazing that, when you start doing Illinois math, you get into some real fuzzy areas, which is incredible. Plus, it'd really be nice because JB has told three pretty big whoppers, even in his press conferences, to disclose what's happening here. Mm-hmm. One of the first things he's trying to paint this as a California company, which this is absolutely a Chinese Communist Party company. And the rumor is that Chinese nationals are going to be the main people that are going to be employed here. Another thing that they lied about was that Volkswagen was a major shareholder here, which they only have about 25% of this deal. And so it's just lie after lie after lie. And the media refuses to hold Governor Pritzker's feet to the fire.
Right. Yeah. And David, just a simple internet search. Well, this President Chin Lee, he's a member of the CCP. He's a member of the World Economic Forum. I mean, you don't have to be much of an investigator to find this stuff. It's there for the taking.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that somebody on the governor's staff couldn't have done a little research. And it's my understanding that they picked this location via their spy balloon that they floated over the United States. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. Again, like I said, that we have to cater to these guys. They're not our friends.
Right.
They're really not. We're sort of kind of at a cold war with these guys, and we need to do better. We really do.
Well, and Chris, you started out, you talked about this was the 17th or 18th or 19th. I want to say there's been like 18 attempts by the governor to lure some kind of a battery manufacturer or some kind of electrical vehicle components. So here's either the 18th or 19th attempt, right? It's closing time. 18 failed attempts, and these guys, the governor goes home with the Chinese communists.
Right.
It's crazy.
I don't know. I think that's the biggest question that has to be answered is the why. Why are we helping the Chinese communists conquer the world? Why are we helping the Chinese communists conquer the world? I don't get it. We're doing it at the federal level, and now we're doing it at the state level, and it just is completely a travesty that this is going on our watch.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really what is driving this, according to the governor, is the green energy and electric vehicles, which is really a farce. I mean, there's a reason why automakers can't sell them, because nobody wants them.
Right.
They're getting forced down our throat.
Right. They were bragging the other day about how they're only losing $33,000 per vehicle now. It was up in the mid-60s, and so, but they're throwing so much money at this that
I know
they're if this was a standalone business where the economy actually drove the marketplace, this would already be done with. And
there's the supply and demand does not apply to government deals, and that's what this is. And I don't care if you're talking about EVs or if you're talking about solar or wind. It's not sustainable. It's not economical. But yet here we are on the state and federal level. We're going to subsidize it. And to the Chinese, of course.
Right. Well, let's just kind of put this in perspective. So $536 million to one company. Prior to this, these REV tax credits, it's a part of this deal. It was the EDGE tax credits. So the numbers that I've got here in 2021, 223 companies got $225 million. That's half of what this is. In 2020, 196 companies got almost $189 million. So here the governor finally found a deal. I'm sure he worked all day and half the night to try to get this deal put together for $536 million. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and all the times that we can't get the Invest in Kids Act renewed, something that would benefit our citizens, our kids in, school districts where they got really poor public education. Yeah, let's work on that instead of this.
Right. And, guys, we've all been out knocking doors, and I've talked to people, and they're just kind of blown away by this deal. And I had a gentleman just yesterday was talking about how important the Invest in Kids program has been for his family. And it's been a game changer in his family. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. And he's really unhappy that program didn't get renewed this spring. And whether we come back and see that here in October, early November in veto session or not remains to be seen. But, I think the funding on that completely ends. Not only just the program end in December 31st. I thought, well, maybe it'd fully fund those kids through the school year. But I think all of it ends with the calendar year. Is that you guys' assumption also with that?
No, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yep. Mine too.
Yeah. So again, why aren't we funding Illinois companies, or at least U.S. companies, or at least companies that are allied with America instead of folks that are relatively unfriendly to America? Yeah. It just seems like, I guess maybe the perspective is right. The governor's trying out to be the the Democrat nominee.
Yeah, bite your tongue there.
The Democrat nominee for president. And so maybe this is what you have to do to appeal to your base to win that Democrat primary next year. I don't know.
Well, he's really catering to the fringe, because in addition to the Invest in Kids Act not getting through, he vetoed the lifting the moratorium on nuclear power. We have a lot of nuclear power in the state, but for whatever reason, I'm sure he's catering to his environmentalist. We're not going to lift that moratorium. That is something we don't most definitely should take up during veto.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess the bottom bullet point here talks about a lithium mine. Have you guys ever seen a lithium mine? I know there's mines in Southern Illinois, David. You probably got them. You can probably see them from your house, but they're not lithium mines or coal mines.
Yeah. They're underground. Most of them are underground.
Yeah. And this administration and prior administrations and, administrations in DC want to shut down some of the most productive coal mines in in the central U.S. in Illinois. In favor of this clean, bad New Deal. Chris, I don't know. We're shutting down Illinois mines, Illinois jobs, but I guess this is clean because we can't see it. These mines are in another continent somewhere, Africa, wherever.
It's really unfortunate. And we actually have lithium here in the western part of the United States, but they've basically regulated those mines out of being able to be profitable, and so we're going to Africa and using slave labor. And somehow I'm not exactly sure how the greenies justify this, but somehow I guess it's out of sight, out of mind if they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Or they pretend like they don't know what's going on, but
right.
The ends justifies the means, I suppose, in their little small brain.
Well, I think that's it. If they can't see it, then it's clean.
Well, actually, I think it's intentional ignorance. I mean, they obviously won't object to things that they don't know about, and it just do a Google search, lithium mines, and there it is. It pops up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic, which is the Safety Act. So there was a restraining order that happened the very end of December, just 9 months ago, and this was a statewide restraining order as action that happened with 65 courts or state's attorneys in Kankakee County Court. Statewide ban on this thing going into place, but then there was a ruling, I think, David, 2 months ago that said it had to go into place on September 18th. They ruled the Safety Act to be constitutional, and so now as of Monday, cashless bail goes in. David, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I've actually, criminal law is not my forte, but I've been, talking to several of my sheriffs in the area and talking to them about their jail population, and their jail population is going to drop from anywhere 75 to 80% because of this. They've got to have hearings to meet certain thresholds to detain these individuals after Monday. If they don't, they're getting kicked and they'll be back on the streets. It's really unfortunate. We got enough bad people out there, and now they're going to release some more. And it's not the sheriff's fault. We have to remember that they're doing what they can with the laws that got rammed through. So, hopefully, so in the near future, and I hate saying it, something bad will happen, and hopefully we can make some changes to this stuff quick.
Right. And Chris, there's not only the human component and releasing bad people back on the street, but there's a financial component that's going to hit taxpayers, kind of maybe a double whammy. They're going to have these criminals running loose on the streets, the country roads. But, some of the counties I've talked to, depending on the size of the county, it could be maybe from a few $100,000 to several $100,000 or millions of dollars in budgetary pressure when all this goes away. I don't know what you're hearing or if you have thoughts on that.
No, I'm hearing the same thing. I was out hitting doors in Douglas County this afternoon, and I know once the person figured out who I was and why I was there, they were like, "What is going on? What are these people thinking about?" And my response was, I said, "There's a reason why we call the Capitol building the Bad Idea Factory." I said, "This is a prime example of why we call it that, and it's another prime example of why we need to quit electing Democrats to fix this mess, because they've proven over time that they aren't going to fix anything, that they're going to screw everything up that they touch, because all they know how to do is tax, borrow, spend, and regulate." And most of it would be one thing if they had excellent ideas, but this Safety Act is a prime example of how they want to regulate and how they want to govern, and it's an absolute disaster.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, well, so we're seeing this play out with the Safety Act. It's now 2.5, a little over 2.5 years old. Been multiple enactment dates, different phases of it. But with the gun ban, and there's some other case or some other legislation that passed this spring that's being litigated. And so, David, we just see this that they don't care. When we open about how we care about the Constitution, we care about the rule of law, right? Well, the majority party doesn't care about any of that. They don't care whether it's constitutional law. They're going to say, see you in court. We're going to pass this stuff. You either like it or show up in court and spend your time and money to try to get your rights back.
Yeah, no, and it's evident by what they pass. I'm sure they have legal counsel on their side of the aisle like we do. These bills go through. There's a lot of objections from us on the Republican side of the aisle about how bad it is, that it's unconstitutional, and nobody listens. And my understanding, on more than one occasion, the Democrats have said that, stood up on the other side during debate and said, like you said, we will see you in court, knowing that it's going to get litigated.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, guys, let's move on. We got a couple events to talk about here as we move into the tail end of this program. So just about 12 days, big event in Effingham. Dinesh D'Souza coming back to Illinois. 2 years ago, he was in Central Illinois, East Central Illinois at Arthur. Going to be in Effingham at the Thelma Keller Convention Center. Tickets are still available. Chris, any thoughts or any ideas there? What to help our folks find tickets or anything?
Well, I know that they can contact any of us. They can follow the links and order them online. But I think one of the things that you are going to be pleasantly surprised with the information that Dinesh is going to bring that evening. I mean, he's on the cutting edge of all these things. He's getting ready to release a new movie, and you're going to kind of get a snapshot of what that's going to be about. So right. I'll tell you what, if you come and you don't think you got your money's worth, I'll see if Brad will refund your money.
And David, there's multiple levels that people can either just a ticket to hear Dinesh D'Souza. There's an opportunity to take a photo and some other opportunities and this is very limited on the VIP meeting, lunch, dinner. I guess it's a dinner with Mr. D'Souza.
Yeah, general admission is $30. You get a VIP ticket that's $100 per person, includes a photo, and then obviously we would appreciate sponsorships as well. I am really looking forward to this, to seeing him speak. See him pop up on TV periodically. Very fascinating, interesting guy, like Chris said, on the cutting edge of what's going on. Just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, it will be worth the price of admission. I can speak from experience from 2 years ago. He just had the crowd just wowed, and people talked about it for months. And then I heard for months people say, "Well, boy, when you have him when he comes back, let us know." Well, he's back, and hopefully you're hearing this stream and you'll be there, because it will be worth the time to be there. So yeah. Hey guys, the other event, another town hall. We've done several of these across the state this summer. I've been to a couple of them. Chris, I think you've been to a couple of them. David, I don't know if you've had a chance to be at any of these statewide ones, but here's one's going to be really close to your neighborhood.
This one's going to be in my backyard. It's going to be at the Veterans Airport in Southern Illinois, Marion. Beautiful location. And unfortunately, still a little bit of a drive, but I will definitely be there since it's in my backyard. Exactly. And I regret not being able to go to the other ones. It's just I still work for a living, unlike some of the Democrats. So trying to put the kids through school and everything else. So it's still working, and so I'm limited on the activities that I can attend after hours.
Yeah, I understand. No, these have, people come up to the ones I've been to. I guess I've been to 2 of them this summer, and really appreciative that we took the effort. They appreciated the information. It's good stuff. And here's our final slide. This is where you can find us. And Chris, your favorite button, there's the bottom, or I say button is the bottom website. IllinoisFreedomCaucus.org, and then there's that one with that donate.
Oh, yeah, there's probably a big red button, I'm guessing, and it'll lead you to the promised land.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everyone, I thank you guys. Thank you for joining us on this live stream. And let's just go, David, if you've got some closing comments, and then we'll go Chris, and then I'll close this out this evening.
No, I just appreciate having these little events, these little forums here. It gives us an opportunity to reach out and discuss topics with the people. I know there's a lot of people everywhere I go. Somebody's always stopping me, asking me what's going on in Springfield. So follow us on these Facebooks Live. It's great information.
Exactly. Thank you, Representative Freeze. Chris, the leader of the Freedom Caucus.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening. Thank you, David and Brad, for being on here and making this event very informative and continuing to make this the home of truth, logic, and common sense. Everywhere I go, they say that common sense is not so common anymore. So hopefully that we can continue to shine the light and cause the cockroaches to run to the corners.
Exactly right.
But anyway, I hope you enjoy this evening and find it to be educational and informative. And so we got to rally the troops. You know, the Republic is in the balance as we head into the 2024 elections. So we need to be engaged and all hands on deck.
Exactly. Well, and guys, I'm already starting to formulate. We've had a series of town halls and different kind of meetings this summer. We've had the busiest year in my legislative career just because of redistricting and trying to meet people at different times, different locations all across the new district, wherever they are. We've already got some post-veto session town halls planned in the district in the 107. That will happen right after veto session, right before Thanksgiving. And as soon as we get those dates available, we'll post those up, and we'll have more of the Freedom Caucus town halls, hopefully across the state this fall. I know some dates are being worked on. They're trying to work out the venues. But again, guys out there tonight, we just always appreciate that you will like and share and subscribe and follow our content. Help us to overcome the big tech overlords and the algorithmic gods, and that's what it takes to be get this message out. I truly believe that the conservative movement in Illinois and maybe the nation hangs in the balance with what's kind of going on here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to close out, and we'll see you down the road. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good night.